Yes, because I was saying in the order that we get, so we're going to have to conclude. Go ahead.
Hi. Documents released in the Holy Land Foundation trial in Dallas, as well as a 2002 Chicago Tribune article, show that the Muslim American Society was created as part of the Muslim Brotherhood network in North America. Do you have a comment on Mass's relationship with the Muslim Brotherhood at this time?
What press are you from?
My name is Rachel. I'm from Georgetown University.
I think that's one of the issues that was raised. The referenced relationship with the Muslim Brotherhood is clearly historical, and it's clearly obsolete, with no bearings on what Mass is today. If you look at the history of Islamic activism in the United States, you will see a lot of people who, from the immigrant community, who contributed in different ways and approaches to its growth and to the buildup of the infrastructure. Some people did at some point have relations with the Muslim Brotherhood, and that is reality, and that certainly the documents have shown it. The fact is that many mainstream Muslim organizations have had that degree of interaction at some point or another. Today, Mass has no ties with the Muslim Brotherhood. The Brotherhood does not exist as far as we know in the United States. We are staunchly American, we're legal, transparent, our transactions are to the full extent of the law, and we have no way or interest really to speak on behalf of the Muslim Brotherhood overseas. We still view them as a good ally that our government engages in different capacities in the Middle East, in Iraq in the form of the Islamic Party, in Egypt in avenues of social reform, in different parts. And we think that they do hold a lot of stake in the shaping of the minds and hearts of Muslims in the Middle East. So it behooves us as an American policy makers to engage those parties to be able to forge a more stable relationship with the Muslim countries. But back home, it's the Muslim American Society. It is not the Brotherhood. The way we work is American born, raised, and bred, and that's the end of it, really. But history has its own different aspects. That's what the trial has shown. That's what documents have shown. That's where it stops. I think the carryover is what we have a problem with. The carryover, and then the buildup of the potential this and the potential that, which we completely reject. I mean, our stands are very clear on these matters, and we recognize history, but we clearly make very clear stance on where we are today.
Can I just make a very brief follow-up comment?
Very quickly, that's okay.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that when House Speaker Nancy Pelosi had a delegation that visited Egypt earlier this year, one of the persons who went with her was Congressman Steny Hoyer, who met with members of the Ikhwan, or the Egyptian Brotherhood, and in fact signaled and indicated that that ought to be an avenue of dialogue between U.S. policymakers and that very significant political organization within Egypt. So while I certainly do recognize that there has been a historical tie, I also want to say that the demonization of the Ikhwan or the Brotherhood is clearly something that has a political motive, and not because the Brotherhood is engaging in quote-unquote terrorism or violence. In fact, and I'll end on this note, they are the largest opposition, the largest elected opposition bloc within the Egyptian parliament. But more than that, they are clearly embarked in Egypt on a course of moderation and a course of advocating for Islamic values, but not doing it through the means of violence.
Okay, let me go in the order that we had. Yes, okay.
Rosalind Jordan with WAMU Radio. Dr. Omeish, you said that when you went to the first commission meeting on the 25th, you sensed some tension in the room. 2 days ago, the delegate from Woodstock sends a letter to the governor. Then yesterday, the governor was made aware of these YouTube video fragments. Now you're off the panel. Are you concerned, one, by the rapidity of how this all played out? And two, are you worried that people who perhaps don't have a constituency in Southwest Virginia, for example, might be deterred from taking part in public life, engaging with the state government for any reason?
I think those are very valid concerns. I think what I sensed at the beginning of the meeting and really kind of led to the election of the chairman of the commission, and it showed a sense of willingness to kind of remain centered and not to be polarized. The election of Senator Watkins was in fact the culmination of the first meeting. However, I do think that we need to be very careful as we thread this road from the potential for polarity and the potential for losing sight of what really the goal of the commission is. And I think we are still at a danger in that commission for that, but I think the good leadership and the wise leadership of Governor Kane and the senators Senator Saslaw, Senator Watkins, even Senator Marshall, who may have gotten some bad press, but I think he showed the character and the ability to be able to engage all members. I do worry about somebody like Gerbert, though, on the commission, because if that's the attitude he's going to drive and that's what he will bring to the table, then that is a polarizing attitude, and his constituency ought to be very concerned about the representation of somebody who is looking to divide and looking to alienate, because the Commission on Immigration has to take the higher road of including everybody. You may not like my color, you may not like my voice, you may not like but at the end of the day, it's the future, the great future of the Commonwealth is at stake, and I think we do need to come together to move forward on it.
Yes, last question over here.
Yeah, I wanted to, Dr. Omeish, my name is Eric Stakelbeck, I'm from CBN. I wanted to call your attention to an interview you did with Laura Ingraham in August. She asked you about the possibility of establishing, if you wanted to establish Islamic Sharia law in the U.S.
It's always fun to be on Laura Ingram's show.
Yeah. But you answered that, and I quote, "If accepted by people," this is Islamic Sharia law, "if accepted by people, it would be a lovely set of rules if people understand its tenets." Now, does that mean adultery, stoning people for homosexuality, adultery, things like that, Christians and Jews, dhimmi status? What does that exactly mean?
I certainly hope that we don't vote in adultery, stoning as a law in America. I mean, I don't think we're...
But isn't that a part of Islamic Sharia law, the way it's practiced in Iran and Saudi Arabia?
I'll tell you, the bottom line in this is, I'm a religious man. I do hold my religion in high regard. But I also believe that the very fundamental principles of my religion are in no contradiction with the very great principles of this country. And I work day in and day out to make sure that my constituency understands it and that I articulate this in ways that will make it relevant and it will make it something that is compatible with the pluralism and the diversity of this country. Now, outside of that context, the way I view Islam is I view it as a religion. I support the separation of the state and church in no unequivocal terms in this country. And I think it is done to safeguard my ability to practice my religion freely and the ability of anybody and everybody to practice their religion freely, whether they're atheists or whether they're people of divine belief.
Also, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Now, having said that, now when you ask me, the aspirations of the Muslims in the Muslim world, some of them may express the fact that they want to live by the tenets of the Quran. These are tenets that are not rigid. They are tenets to be applicable in one society. So they can do all they want to form these laws. So I think to take it generically, I mean, do I want to be living in accordance with the guidance of the Quran and the Sunnah, which is the practices of the Prophet? The answer is automatically yes. I do strive to be like that. But is Islam capable of applying those understandings in values and in concepts of dialogue with the greater society? Absolutely. And if you ask me, I don't want to see gambling and I don't want to see drinking. But Mass works actually with the Christian groups in Dallas in one of our chapters to ban gambling and drinking, and we've done that. So we will engage social issues based on our values. But what we are clear about is the reason we had separation of state and church is not to protect the religion from state. It is it's to protect the state from religion itself. And so we want to make sure that remains separate.
And when you talk about the jihad way, the one clip you talked about the jihad way, you say jihad in your interpretation is spiritual struggle, but another segment of the Muslim world, Al-Qaeda, Hamas, Hezbollah, radical groups, they don't see jihad as a spiritual struggle. They see it as a military means to kill, really. So when you say the jihad way, don't you see how that could possibly be misinterpreted?
Very good comment. And that goes back to my friend here who mentioned the fact that is important for us to inject that explanation or that issue in it. Absolutely. But you know what's even more important is for us to be able to stand in front of Muslims and in front of the pulpit and be able to declare that when I talk about jihad, even when I talk about it in the physical means, it absolutely in no way, shape or form give any justification to what the Al-Qaeda is doing, to what the Bin Laden is doing. That's the more powerful discourse that will enable us to streamline even Muslims on the fringes, if as such exist, or even people who may be confused enough or frustrated enough or bothered enough by what they see and what they hear. I need to be able to make sure that they understand that Islam does not condone it. Not here, not in Palestine, not in Iraq, not anywhere else. And it's a matter of building that principle, which I think will produce a more genuine and more strong foothold of what Muslims do in this country and everywhere else.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.